Welcome to the Market and Main podcast. I'm your host, Mike Peters, and today on the show we have David Adams, a financial advisor here from Chattanooga and an ex-Army or an Army veteran. Thank you for your service and welcome to the show, David.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for support.
Yeah, no problem. No, anytime, anytime. So tell me a little bit about, your business and, you said you are a financial advisor here in the Chattanooga area and you're working for a specific brokerage. Let us in on, how all this is structured and what exactly you're doing and like what areas are you serving?
Awesome. Yeah. So I got introduced, I guess, to the company a couple of years ago, and they helped me personally, and that's when I got introduced to what they do and what they offer. So for me, I was 30 years old at the time. I'd gone through a divorce, and I was like back to square zero. I was like, what do I need to do with my money? No one ever taught me growing up what I should do with my money. Like that's the majority of Americans, right? Like they're not financially literate or getting that financial education. So I started seeking it. I'd done so many different things, and I got introduced to this company, and they helped me, and I got passionate about money and numbers even more so. But I was still getting back on my feet, so I couldn't really do anything in the financial world. It wouldn't be very smart of me to get involved with that when I don't have all my ducks in a row.
Right.
And so I started working really hard to kind of get that way, and they helped me kind of get there. And then I came back to them. I was like, hey, how do I get involved with this? Because I want to help educate and help other people win with their money. Just because my parents and my grandparents weren't taught. And so here I was at 30, just starting a family, getting married, having kids. I'm like, I need to make sure my ducks are in a row, so that they're taken care of in the long run.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got involved with this company. We're a very large company, but we're broken down to smaller brokerages across the U.S. And so, in a nutshell, what we do is I tell everybody four things that we do. We help people save more money, make more money, pay less in taxes, and retire early. I don't know about you, Mike, but I don't know anybody that doesn't like those things.
Yeah, that's a pretty good hook there. Yeah, so exactly like how's that gonna look like? I mean, it's like we have a lot of financial advisors coming to the podcast, as you can imagine, but it's like uh, no offense here, but they all kind of say the same, So
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
that's a pretty good hook, It's like basically boiling down to is like, yeah, we have the solution for you, but like is it all through financial products or is it any, you mentioned financial literacy, is this anything that, you give away as courses or, you have like educational material where it's like, hey, you know what, you don't have to invest with us, but here's some educational material that you can learn like how to get from, living paycheck to, let's say, being an investor for yourself, and then also like what kind of like type of products are you, recommending to people, let's say that, want to like make more money or pretty young and they don't know what their future will look like if they want to start their own business or if they want to go down the path of employment.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing that we do is first we sit down with the clients and we figure out where they are now financially, and then we figure out where their goals are, and then we help build a plan to get them there. And so depending on the client, depends on the products and services that we're going to recommend to them. A lot of the times we sit down with people, they aren't quite to zero. So they're living in debt, they've got bad credit. And so we start really just kind of the foundations of things and educate first. Like, hey, this is where you may have gone wrong. Let's show you how to kind of get out of that hole and start moving in the right direction. So the biggest piece of what we do though is education. We want to educate them on their options, but we want to educate them on practical things they can do to get to a better position financially. Whether that's learning how to use debt correctly or credit usage, building a budget. The majority of people don't have a budget. It's paycheck to paycheck because it's money in, money out, right? And so the big thing is just, hey, look, let's figure out where your shortcomings or your shortfalls are and start working on fixing those and building a plan to get you back to zero. And then from there, let's look at what we can do to help you start making money work for you instead of you working so hard for your money. So it really just depends on the clients and where they're at financially as to the products that we're going to recommend to them.
Right, right. I mean, you're right. Like a lot of people, they don't even make it paycheck to paycheck anymore because, they're so in debt. And I've been there, personally. My way out was like building a business, where it's like I developed a skill that, made me or got me paid, tens of thousands of dollars a month. Whereas like that's for me, that's the way to go. If you want to go out of that or get out of that, then you need to, up your upper, like your top line rather than,
Absolutely.
saving. Like I'm not a big saver, right? So I tell you right away, because my parents also, they were not financially educated, at least not I mean, traditionally, yes. Like what all the grandmothers said to their grandchildren and then them to theirs and so on, right? Save. Save money, don't spend money, don't go to Starbucks, don't do this, don't do that. Basically, you know what? You should save up. So when you're old, you know, that's what my dad always said to me. You should buy a house and then pay it off. And then when you're old, and I was like, well, but what about the time in between? It's like I want to live well. I want to live like to the fullest. I want to have the fun when I can, because when I'm old, I also have the problems that come with being old. That like the energy is not there anymore. Like you're like, oh no, you know what? I don't necessarily want to travel. Everything hurts because I worked my butt off, like all my life, and now, I have to pay for that. Yes, I have a paid off house, but other than that, like no. So what is it that isn't taught today still? I mean, there's a lot of like books out there, and there's a lot of material out there. Has never been easier to reach, especially for young people. But like, what is it that separates you from, let's say, another financial advisor that of course they want to help you get your financials in your financial ducks in a row, because eventually they want you to invest with them with a
Correct.
product, right? But what is different with you guys?
Well, I mean, we care. I think the biggest thing is that we actually care about our clients, and whether we're going to get paid to help them or not, we're still going to help them. Like
Okay.
some of my clients, they won't be able to pay me anything. And really, they never really pay me. The companies that we've partnered with actually pay us the referral fee for bringing them new clients. So our
Right.
clients never pay us a dime. So first and foremost, we do a free financial needs analysis, where I think that's one of the biggest separators is typically in the industry. You're going to go sit down with, XYZ company, and they're going to say, hey, I need $500 to $2,500 just to sit down and talk to them. And then at the end of that conversation, they're like, hey, sorry, I can't help you. You don't have enough money for me to invest. Um, here's my bill.
Right.
And they send you on your way. So we take that approach to say, hey, let's help build you a plan to get you to the point where you can do that, and then find them the right product or service.
I mean, I get that, like that's basically, they don't qualify their customers first. They're like, okay, so what do you have? $2,500? Oh, that's just enough for me to tell you no. I mean, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, like I said, I mean, it's
it is. Yep,
commission-based business, right? So,
correct.
where, basically like a, financial broker, right? They do that too. They don't have the loans, they just connect you with the right banks, right?
Correct.
In order then, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I think another big separator is that we have strategic partnerships through not just the financial industry, but outside of that. So we have a law group that we're partnered with that help our clients set up living wills and trusts.
Hmm.
That way they can protect their assets, not just protect their lives. So we help them do that as well. And going back to business, most people don't understand that the tax codes were written for business owners for a reason.
Hmm.
Start a
Yeah,
business.
start a business,
Start a business.
be
That's the
incentivized to create jobs, right? I mean, this is like 60% of America's economy is still driven by small businesses, meaning
absolutely
like businesses 50 people or smaller. So that's like by definition a small business. And, like I said, 60%, that's in jeopardy right now because, we don't really need more businesses. We need more people that run businesses. That's our problem right now. So,
yes. We need good leadership.
right. That is like right now, it's the biggest opportunity for everyone, that is interested. Biggest opportunity right now, since I would say the last 5 years and for maybe the next five, is small businesses that are run or owned, by baby boomers, and they're like retiring by tens of thousands a day
Yep.
since a few years. So right now, like they're estimating 10,000 people a day are retiring, baby boomers, and the majority of small businesses, like I said, 50 people or less. Today, what makes up 60% of America's economy is held by baby boomers. So there's a huge opportunity for everyone that wants to get into businesses and doesn't want to go the route I went. It's like I'm starting businesses from scratch, right?
Right.
I like that, but it's a lot of risk, right? And there's no guarantee that that will work out. But, baby boomers, they did all that for you.
Right.
They ran their businesses for 30, 40 years. They're cash flow positive and they want to get rid of it. So there's a huge opportunity for you to come in and, strike a deal with them and say, hey, you know what? You want to retire? I want a business. Here's what I can bring to the table. Let's make a deal, and you would be surprised how creative all those people get right now, because there's really not enough people to take over those businesses.
That's right.
Everyone wants to have a college degree, but really what it takes is like a plumber, right? To like take over this like plumbing business, of that 30-year established, business, and they're busy. They're really busy.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of them go out of business.
Trade services right now are blowing up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the getting paid in the trade service also is a phenomenal way to go right now.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Like I said that already 5 years ago, right? When I came over here, I learned a trade, me personally, right, in Germany. So it's a little bit different German apprenticeship system. You still get a 4-year college degree because you have to go to college for 3.5, 4 years. But it's you learn the trade on the job, right? You also get paid for that while you're doing that. Not much, but it's okay. You don't have to pay for it.
Right. Yeah.
At least not directly. So, but the thing is that at the end you join the workforce with a degree and work experience. You're still a little shit and know nothing, but
Right,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
at least you know more than most people that come out of university with a 4-year bachelor's degree,
Right.
and don't know anything. I had a master's. Someone was a master. This is no joke. All right, we had an electrical engineer. It was 2020. I was on a concrete slab at a landfill. All right, in south of Houston, in Galveston, Texas.
Okay.
Right, so hot. It was hell. Like, I'm not kidding you. It was so hot outside all the time. We had this guy coming in. He had a master's degree in as an like a electrical engineering master's degree, right? A 7-year college study time, like behind him. Like he went to college for 7 years, and I asked him to bring me a flat hat, and he looked at me like I'm out of this world.
Oh man.
Like he didn't know. I couldn't believe that. I was like, well, I showed him. It's like, so this is a Phillips. This is a flat hat. Now you go there and open that door. And he looked at me like I was speaking Chinese.
That's
It's
funny.
like I'm not kidding you. And I was like, this is dangerous. Like those people are in charge of this. Like why did that person not know what a flat hat was? Never, ever. And I don't even know if that is okay because I'm like when my peers went to university, they at least had like practical classes too. Whereas
Yeah.
like is that all gone? Like are they not doing that anymore? It's like it's very frightening to me.
Yeah. I feel like the US as a whole, from like just primary education, right? Going to high school, like I don't feel like there's the agricultural classes, they call them like ag classes, where you learn wood shop and like the basics of
Mhm.
how to live.
Yeah.
I think those have all been kind of taken out of the
I don't know. I
curriculum.
didn't go to school here in the United
Yeah,
States,
yeah.
so I cannot tell you. But what I heard is that the whole like trade preparation, for like woodworking and stuff like that, that went away.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it was before. So
Yeah, I think it was more in depth before, and it's kind of transition. I know when I was finishing up high school, we had what's called trade school, and where you could choose, in 8th grade before you went to 9th grade, high school, you could choose the, education path, if you will, like an advanced education through high school, or you could choose the trade path. And so for half the day, you would go to trade school, and you would
okay,
choose, mechanics,
okay,
body
so
shop,
like physical.
welding. Yeah, yeah,
All right,
like
so
physical trades. But I feel like that's kind of like slowed down. We're not doing that anymore.
isn't your brother doing that, Malachi? The trade route there was like being a welder.
Yeah, Cleveland High School has like really advanced automotive welding programs.
Well, see, they're picking up on that again because
That's
they know
good.
they have a problem. It's like
Yeah, we're running out of people to do those
yes,
jobs.
absolutely. So like right now, it's like a friend of mine. He was he built that table out there in the meeting room. Like for you, you never see that meeting room, but like he built that. Like he was he went to trade school. He is a certified welder, and then he also got his like trainer license, whatever. And like, when he founded his business in the beginning, he did this part time, right? Because not enough like customers yet,
Right.
and he trained people somewhere at school at the university in like welding. So I know a little bit about that. I never went to like welding school, but like he just told me the other day that his brother is doing that. So that's pretty interesting that they're
It's
going back to
fun.
that. So and you were in the military, right? So
Correct. Yes, sir.
there's a lot of like opportunities there to learn trades in the military too, right?
Yes, I went in as an officer. So, I graduated a ROTC program through my university and went in as an officer, went in infantry, and then jumped out of planes for no good reason.
Just for
Um,
fun.
yeah, yeah, they were like, "Hey, do you want to go to airborne school?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to jump out of a plane." So then my first time getting in an aircraft
Who
was the first
doesn't?
time.
Who doesn't? You know, it's like
Yeah. So it was a good time. The first time I got in the plane was the first time I jumped out of one, and then I was like hooked from there. And so I've gone skydiving a few times. I really enjoyed that. But
I always wanted to do that, never did so far. So
let's go.
yeah,
I'll go with you.
I'll pass for it right now.
But yeah, you can learn so many different trades in the military, whether it's the Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marines. I mean, there's so many different ways you can get the benefits of the military, education benefits as well, and then also learn a skill set. Um, and I feel like that's kind of lost too. I don't think there's a lot of people, that's why we have military recruiters, right? I mean, we're trying to get more people in.
Right.
There's positions that we need filled. And a lot of that is the technical aspect of
Right.
it. Like we need people working on the Humvees or working on the aircraft or whatever. We've gone more technologically advanced in the military now. We need people being able
Software,
to,
yeah.
software, working on the radios and stuff like that.
We had like we have a lot of ex-military people working for me. It's like we have people from the army, people from the from the Marines, and it's like you can tell the difference in discipline. They're never late. They do their job. They never complain. They go home. They're a little bit rougher on the outside, but I think that comes with the territory. But this is like I said, like the background they have and the discipline that comes with that. It's absolutely some traits to look up to be honest, in today's workforce.
Absolutely. I mean that's what they teach you to be a leader, right? I mean, I think it's a lost art form now in the US. We don't have enough leaders. We have too many followers that just want to follow the crowd. We need people stepping up,
Right.
across the board, not just in business, but in life in general. We need better leaders.
Yeah, that's
So
absolutely true. The You also, like, we talked a little bit up front. So you told me it's like you started your own business or tried to start your own business in the outdoor field. Tell me a little bit about that. What was the product? What was the service? And like what was the way? I mean, I know like I've been divorced before, so it's always like a interesting time. Let's put it like that.
it's very I would highly discourage divorces. 10 out of 10 not recommended. But yeah, I got to the point in my life where I transitioned out of the military in 2015. I was like a lost little puppy. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like the military was the only thing I knew I wanted to do. And so I went through this phase where I was kind of like, woe is me. Like, what am I going to do with my life? And I tried different trades. I did HVAC. Built houses, built pools. If it can be taken apart and put back together, I've probably done it in like a 5-year span.
Mhm.
And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm not happy doing any of that. I enjoy it. I mean, I love working with my hands, but I was like, I'm not happy. Um, and I need to figure out what makes me happy. And I started hiking again, which is what I did in college. I enjoyed the outdoors then and started, rock climbing. And I got back in the outdoors. So I went hiking like every single day.
So,
Um,
and you said you're from Alabama originally, right?
Correct.
So where
Yes,
in
sir.
Alabama?
Gadsden area. Most people know of like Calhoun County. It's between Birmingham and Gadsden.
Okay, I don't
Um,
know where that is. Like
yeah.
the only thing I know down there is like Tuscaloosa because Mercedes is down there, So,
Correct. Yep.
but that's basically it. So everything else, Alabama is beyond me.
Yeah. So it's northeast Alabama.
Okay.
Close. That's probably about an hour and a half drive from the Georgia line.
Okay.
But about an hour northeast of Birmingham. Yeah.
Of Birmingham. Okay.
Yeah. Small little area. Grew up on the
Do you
river.
have a lot of mountains there? No.
Not a lot of mountains. I mean, we got the blue. I guess there's the Blue Hills, Blue Mountains that way. Mount Cheehaw. It's the highest peak in Alabama. It's pretty nice little area.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then like the whole like hiking and rock climbing and stuff like that was here, right?
Correct. And it was in Birmingham. Has a boulder field, not too far. That's where I went to school, is in UAB. And there's a boulder field, just basically giant rocks that you can free climb.
Okay.
So I started climbing then and really enjoyed it. But I grew up in the woods, playing behind my house, and that's kind of where I found my happy place.
Okay.
As a kid.
And then what exactly was the the spark, and like what was the What was the product or service you had in mind when you founded that business?
Yeah, so I wanted to create an environment where people can enjoy the outdoors, but nobody likes to go hiking by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people want the more education approach of it, like, hey, the history behind the trail or the floral and fauna, the animals in the area. And so I wanted to create an experience where people could be educated, but also enjoy hiking in either small groups or with their family, and have a guide there that one could educate them, but two also be there if something were to happen, they fall, get hurt. So I went through, a training course to become an outdoor, um, not paramedic, but like just basic medical stuff. Hey, let's brace this and get you out of the woods
Like first
quickly.
aid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
like a step above first aid, but like below paramedic.
Okay.
Like I didn't want to go that depth into it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I wanted to give them the experience where they felt safe, but also they could learn a lot and just have someone there to kind of guide them through the woods.
And you did that on the side next to one of the other jobs that you had. Or
So I would not recommend this, but I was like, I'm just going to do this, go right into it. No real plan, just a passion.
Okay.
And so my wife at the time, now ex-wife, she did social media marketing for her father. And so she kind of took over building me an Instagram, Facebook page, and kind of helping me get the website going and stuff like that. And I just hit the ground running. So what I did was I started hiking every day. I started recording on my phone and GoPro of my trips. And so I'd create these clips, say, hey, look, if you've never hiked Ramsey's Falls, here's what it looks like.
Okay, so
Yeah.
but basically you're just like putting a hook out there and it's like, hey, here's what we do. If you're interested, I can, lead you out here and stuff like that.
Yes.
Is that something how it went down? Like,
Yeah. So I called it Reset Expeditions.
Mhm.
And so my thought process behind that was people need a reset from life. They get stressed from work or, whatever it may be, college, or they're just really stressed and they need a place to relax and kind of reset their mind. And we know, the science behind outdoor therapy is getting bigger and bigger. But we know that after you spend a couple days in the woods, your levels, your hormones and stuff, they kind of normalize. They
okay.
balance out.
But like, if you say a couple of days, you mean like going into the woods and then going back home at night,
Yeah.
or like staying there?
Staying there. Yeah.
It's like
Being in that
overnight with
environment.
camping and stuff like
Yep.
that.
So I wanted to set up, short day hikes, backpacking trips, kayaking, camping trips to where I was going to do everything just
Oh.
because I love it. And I was like, how cool is it that I can start a business where I get paid to do what I love
Right.
and have fun doing it? And so I started designing these different trips revolving around that. Hey, let's get you reset. So let's take a weekend trip and let you forget about everything. Like one of my rules was you can't bring technology. If you have your phone, it has to be often in your pack so that you can't be trying to get your Facebook fix. Like, hey, let's just let the world
Okay.
disappear for
So
a minute.
just basically like giving them a way out, disconnect from the rest.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's disconnect for a little bit. Like, let's connect to each other. Like, that was a big part of it too. Is like,
Mhm.
hey, look, we need more human interaction, not through technology.
So and then and that was like your main. That's all you did at that time.
That's what I was. Yeah, I was working through that. I was working at AutoZone at the time,
Okay.
part time. So like, I just started going through my divorce right as I tried to launch this business.
Okay.
And so then I was like, well, I've got to get a day job so I can eat.
Yeah. Well, I hear you there. I've done it differently, or similar, to be honest. Not differently, similar. I just didn't have anything for a day job. So, but I have been there and I took a job, and I hear you. So, then let me say, like, did you have any sales with that, or was it just
No, no sales. It was just kind of like a big flop.
okay?
And I think I probably approached it a little bit different too because I was offering like free hikes to friends in the area
Yeah.
just to kind of drum up like reviews.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, I was pretty much just rocking and rolling with it, just trying to figure it out as I go. Was not,
So, did you get any free trips that you put together and that like people actually took?
yeah, I had a few different hikes and then I had a kayaking trip down the French Broad River.
Okay. And then what would you say, like, what was the timeline from like when you started to like when you said, hey, you know what, I quit?
Well, I've not given up on it 100%. But I'd say within that 6 month time frame, I didn't have the time to put towards it, just because of transitioning through the divorce.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so, but I still love the outdoors and I kick myself every day that I'm not out there doing it, at least on the weekends, right? And
Right.
enjoying
I mean, that's
myself.
really when people have the time anyways, right? So, having that as a weekend tour or, like seasonal, right? And said, hey, I have this like 2 weeks off, or like you're independent contractor anyways, right? So
I am. Yep.
no,
I can
no,
pretty much do what I want. Yeah.
yeah. Well, then do what you want. That's always good. And it's like, okay, so you said like you did some social media marketing back then, but then, it like kind of died off because, time.
Time. Yep.
All right. So yeah, I mean, that's what we do. Everything is like focused on social media marketing, because, everything else is kind of dead, unless, I don't know, your hotel, and you have a billboard on the interstate. And it's like, next exit, that still works. But,
Right.
beyond that, I don't know that there's a lot of things working besides social media marketing.
I think that is the way of the future is social media marketing. I mean, that's where the majority of people are spending their time anyways.
Right.
Like TV commercials since TiVo happened, no one's really watching TiVo, TV commercials anymore. They can fast forward through them more.
I mean, that's that, and then also like, in general, like even I don't see very many people, watching TV anymore. And we just had two guys on our podcast when we were down in Miami, car dealerships, right? So they told me it's like, yeah, you know what? Pre-COVID, we spent like $300,000-$400,000 per year on ads,
Wow.
and they paid like, I think they paid 19. No, how much was that? 700 and something per 30-second spot, and then now they pay like because no one watches anymore for a TV spot, and now they pay like $1,900 for like 75 30-second spots, because it's like same channel, right? It's like just no one watches anymore, so it's dirt cheap now.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. Like if they go cheaper, they're probably still overpriced now. If they
Right,
go
yep.
cheaper, that means like because no one is watching
It's
it,
not as
like
effective.
no
Yep.
one. Like, now it's like everyone watching Netflix, YouTube.
Yep.
Me, for example, I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch like what is the other one? Prime.
Yeah,
or
Amazon Prime,
like
yeah.
or any of that, right? None of that. The only thing, if I really go for entertainment, then I'm gonna be on YouTube.
Yep.
But mostly then I'm there for like education, not for entertainment.
So you're telling me you didn't watch the UT game, the UT Alabama game?
Absolutely not. I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like for me, sports is non-existent. Like
Okay.
none of them. Like I might go back into it like this November when they have the World Championship for soccer.
Okay.
They have it. Normally it's in summer, but like because they're in I think Qatar, and it's so freaking hot over there, they do it in November.
Okay.
To like have it cool down a little bit. So it's like I'm German, so I need to be into that, even though I'm not really, but
Fair enough.
soccer, right? That's
Yeah.
the sport over there. So that I might be willing to like, look at. But like other than that, we're gonna have soccer championship here in the United States 4 years from now. 2026.
You got your tickets already?
Oh no, absolutely not. But I tell you this. We had the World Championship in Germany in 2006. All right. That was the biggest party I've ever been to. I kid you not. It was awesome. It was like in summer. We had the whole world was there. It's like I'm from Dortmund, what is like a pretty big soccer city. Like we're like I would say like number 2 in Germany. Some people will argue with that, but it's like from like winning titles, like we're probably number 2. So
Nice.
the thing is that the whole city was like one big party. We were sitting on the street, like we're like on like major streets where normally you couldn't even like cross without the traffic light. It was a one big party everywhere. People
Looking like
everywhere from everywhere.
Times Square of New York.
Worse.
Worse.
Like more, way more. It's more.
That's
It's
nuts.
I mean, like Times Square in New York is like this one spot, but the rest of Manhattan is kind of there's a lot of cars and stuff like that, but you can still like move freely and stuff like that. It was packed. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like a from downtown Dortmund to the stadium is about, I would say, 6 miles. And it's like the whole street from there to there full with people. Like you could not see the street anymore. So full. People were just sitting on the floor, dancing. Like you can drink in public in Germany. So
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
was drinking. People were there from like all over the world. Like I said, we had a one game was like I think it was Italy, Brazil. and we had like all the Italian guys, all the Brazilian guys, and then the Germans and all that. It was just great.
That's awesome.
No matter what happens in 4 years from now, that's not going to be a party like that, because people hear like, what, soccer, what's that? Unless you ask our Hispanic friends, all my Mexican friends, it's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like, it's our passion,
That's right. Yeah.
It's getting bigger here in the United States, but it's still nowhere near where it is in the rest of the world.
Oh yeah.
But yet here we are, like in the rest of the world, is like, what? American football? What's that?
Yeah. No one
It's like,
cares.
we don't understand. It took me a while to understand. I thought it was like, football, right?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas like, well, there's nothing like that. Why is it like that? I don't understand why you're kicking the ball only sometimes, but then you call it football. Weird. Until someone explained it to me, I was like, oh, okay. So it's more like chess. So that's more like what I understand from it. It's like, it's like chess on the field. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a lot of pawns out there, right? Like, if I offend anyone here, that's on me, right?
I think that's a pretty good analogy.
It's a lot of pawns there, right? So there's like the trainer in the background, where it's like, he's really the one playing, and then everyone else is just like, we're just running into each other, right? I was
Right.
like, all right. And then the other thing is like, okay, the ball looks like a bean, right? And then you have another sports that is similar but different, rugby, right?
Yeah. Rugby, Australian football.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. It's like rugby, or the Brits play that a lot too, right?
Yep.
And you're like, okay, so why is everyone wearing pads and helmets in America, and why are they not in the other colonies, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and then you look at it, it's like, okay, because that's more like soccer, because that's really just like, they take a different ball, but it's like really like soccer. But the other one is like the chess game, where it's like you have a bunch of trucks running into each other. Well, it's like the rugby guys, they're like the soccer guys. They're rather little and, like tiny, rather than like a linebacker, so
Right. Yep.
so but yeah, it's, for a European, that's hard to understand, very hard to grasp, to be honest. Like, still to this day, I was like, what? It's like yeah. So, but soccer, that I would go for that. So this November, for everyone, November in Qatar.
There you go.
So
I'm not big into sports either.
no.
No, I grew up, my dad was an Alabama fan, my stepmom was an Auburn fan, and then my wife's an Auburn fan, and then of course I lived in Tennessee the last 6 years, so
Yeah.
I kind of adopted, UT football a little bit,
But
but
that's also something that for me, it's weird. We don't have like college teams.
Mhm.
Sports is not so integrated into schools in Germany, for example. Or I don't know about Great Britain, but like the rest of Europe isn't like that either. So you have like your clubs, your private clubs, but
Right,
that's
yep.
it, right? Whereas like this whole, like, for me, it's like in Germany we knew NBA, LMB, like NFL and stuff like that, but beyond that, we didn't know that more people are into college football
Yep.
and college basketball than they are in the nationals, right? So,
I think
and
it's
then
because like in college football, especially college sports, it's more pure at this point. Like people are playing for the enjoyment of it, whereas when you get to the NFL, MLB, it's like those guys are playing mostly for the money. I think that's where, at least that's what I feel like most
I
people
think
are
they're
thinking.
playing in the college leagues. They're playing to get to the point where
Oh,
they play for
absolutely.
money.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
it's like same motivator, just like they don't have it yet.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
they're not saturated yet. That's the difference. So no, it's like, for me, it's like, I love baseball caps. Like, I'm a huge hat collector. Always have been, like,
Okay.
since I'm like a little kid. I think my first ever baseball hat was like Los Angeles Raiders. I mean,
Okay.
remember when they were Los Angeles? It's like, I think they moved like 5 times since then. It's like, never watched the game in my whole life, right? Will never. But still,
just
like,
like
I'm
the
just
ball cap.
collecting stuff, like Orlando Magic. I'm a huge like Yankees hat collector. I think I have them in like 15 different colors, right?
Okay.
So, but then, I walk around and then people actually like, get offended, especially down here when
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
running around in a Yankees hat. They're like, was it necessary? I was like, well, it's a fashion statement.
So-
It's actually really nothing else,
So
right?
it's, for you, it's just strictly fashion. Like
That's
you just
it.
like the way it looks,
I,
and you
I
wanna
don't
wear
care.
it.
I don't care. And then it's like, I lived in Chicago for a while, right?
Okay.
So I had a Chicago White Sox hat, baseball cap when I was a kid. All right. So the first thing I did when I moved to Chicago, bought another one. Right. So, and then colleagues at work, they were like, "Oh, you're kind of like a South Sider and stuff like that," because they have the Cubs too, right? So
Right.
and it's always like the South Siders, they're all like Sox people, and then the Cubs people are, the snobs
Yeah.
from the north from the north side. It's like, what? It's like, for me, it doesn't matter. I couldn't tell you one name of their players ever.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like it doesn't matter to me. It's I like this culture of like adults running around in base caps, because in Germany the only people that wearing baseball hats are children. That's it.
Okay.
So my dad always looked at me. He's like, I would never wear that. I was like, all right. So it's just culturally, it's
Yeah.
just not there. But like even beyond that, I'm just collecting hats. I just love hats.
What got you into collecting hats?
I don't know. I just like them. I have a hat face, kind of like compliments me. And now that I don't have hair anymore, so it keeps me warm.
There you go.
That's especially like if you live in Chicago, you need a hat.
Yeah.
People look at me like, all right, oh, is that there's the hat guy? It's like, and I have those like old school like pork pie and stuff like that. So just into that.
Strictly utility now. Keep the head warm.
Well, it's still a fashion statement often, but it's also like a lot of utility, especially in winter, because like our bodies, they're built like a chimney, right? So
Right.
all the heat goes up. So, and normally it stops here. I mean, it still goes out, but like you have this like buffer of your hair that keeps your head warm,
Mhm.
and I don't have that. So I get the shivers like super fast because I'm like freezing so much. So
Oh man.
so that's the utility part of it, but still, like, I don't want to wear a hat that doesn't look good, So just for
Gotta look good.
I was like, there's still a hoodie, still a hoodie. Can do that. So then what happened to your business? 6 months and then you just pulled the plug, or
Yes.
you're having it on hold? Are you thinking about like getting back to it?
Yeah, I'd like to get back to it. I'd say it's definitely on hold for right now, and I got started with the financial services now. I really enjoy that too. So what I found was, yes, I love the outdoors. I have a passion for that, but really my passion is people. I just love people and helping people. And so the whole point of me starting Reset Expeditions was I was going to help people kind of reconnect to nature and kind of reset from stress of life.
Yeah.
It was just really the connection to people. Um, and so then I transitioned to financial services, and I was like, oh, okay, I really enjoy this too. And it's really because, 2020 happened, and for the financial services industry, a lot of people were, kneecap to kneecap, sitting down with clients, helping them. And you can only meet with so many people in a day because you're driving to meet them. Well, our industry, had actually a huge boom due to COVID. We transitioned to online, meeting people on Zoom. And so
Yeah.
now you can be in 5 states and still sit at home and be in 5 different states. And so there was a massive explosion within the industry and within our company because of that. And so what I love about that is that every morning or every day I have an opportunity to meet multiple people across the U.S. and connect to people on another level, and then just help them win. And so that's really what I found the passion was, just helping people win. And so when I started looking at the outdoor services and then financial services, and like, okay, my passion is people. This is just a conduit to do that, to help people. So I started looking and thinking more, and my bigger vision of what I want out of life is to set up what I'm going to call altered farms, ALTAR''D, altered, like come to the altar. And so I want to create a huge outdoor retreat where people can come, stay for free, live in bunkhouses, get back to the basics. So outdoor therapy, yoga, learn how to garden, learn how to raise animals, just kind of get back to the nature aspect of the very basics of just cooking your own food, that you know where it came from. You picked it from the garden, and just like resetting from life again, and getting that foundation back together where their mental health is good to go. And so then they can go conquer the day, conquer the world because they have a strong foundation. One of the things that I went through my divorce is what I went through a mental breakdown. And I would have, I kind of laughed at like mental health there for a little while because I was like, oh, just suck it up, buttercup. Because that was my mentality. That's what I was told growing up. Hey, just suck it up, get it done. And then when I hit my breakdown, I was like, oh, there is some validity to this whole mental health thing here. I attempted suicide, failed, and I was like, okay, I need to take a look at this and figure out how I can apply my story and help other people. And so then the vision became, how can I help other people make sure that they don't get to that point
Right.
and stop, prevent it if I can, and help them cope properly with whatever traumas they've had throughout their lives. Because mental health became a focal point for me. And so through that, I was like, okay, I can use what I love, the outdoors again. I can use financial services, and I can help them build a strong foundation with this retreat. They're going to get the education they need. They're going to get the coping skills they need. They're going to get the grounding and foundation that they need, then go out and conquer the world. And so now my bigger vision is I need to make a lot of money, not for me, but to be able to fund this retreat.
Right.
And so that's kind of my bigger vision now.
I mean, that's always like, for me, money, what is money, right?
It's just a tool.
It's a tool, right? It's
Absolutely.
like, it's useless until, you actually use it for something, so that's the whole thing. I mean, of course, you need to eat, you need shelter and stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
Yep.
But beyond that, it's really not, you can use it as a tool. That's not
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, once you make above a certain level of money, like your lifestyle doesn't really change that much. Like you still have all the nice things if you want them, but there has to be something other than money that
So
you're
what's
doing with your life.
what do you think is that magic number where it doesn't matter anymore beyond that point?
I think it's different for each person. For me, like I've never made over 6 figures before in my life. So my first goal is to hit 6 figures.
Okay.
Right? And then from there, like I've told myself since I was 28, I was going to be a millionaire by 35. I got 3 years, a little less than 3 years to get
Better
there.
hurry up there.
That's right. That's right. I've got a plan in place. It's going. Part of that's building this agency that I'm a part of now and building my own agency and then leading other people to develop their own agencies. But again, that just fuels my bigger vision of I've got to help other people.
I mean, it's like I always say that, if you have nothing to give, you will never receive anything.
Absolutely.
If you have something to give, it's going to come back. It's going to come back.
Absolutely. That's just the laws of
you
the
help
world.
people, right? You help people will remember that. And then even if they don't have anything to give to you themselves, they will remember you for what you have done for them. And then they will connect you with people that might be able to help you in what shape or form ever, right? Because everyone has different needs, right? In your case, it's like, okay, I want to build this retreat. I want to help people. I need the money to like actually, build this up even further. And then it's kind of like my root cause is actually not money, but helping, right?
Absolutely.
And then, you will find a way to monetize on that later on, and go from there.
I feel like that's, most people, that is their goal in life is to help other people and be of service to each other. I think sometimes they get, muddied by the money, but at the end of the day, I think everybody is trying to help other people in some form or fashion. I mean, that's all small business is like, I found a problem, I've created a solution.
Yeah.
And I found out how to
I have to
monetize that
disagree with
solution.
that because a lot of people don't do it that way. A lot of people, most people quit their day job and start a business not for that reason.
Yeah.
Number one reason why people start a business today, in the past, in the future, is because they don't want to work for someone else.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem, because people start something only for the one reason. It's a negative reason, actually.
It's all about ego.
It's about ego. It's about, fuck you, I don't want to work for you. Like, I can't do better. You suck, whatever. It's like, they do not want to work for a different, like another person, especially when that person was like a negative person. It's like, I mean, we all have been there. I have been there, now I'm a business owner, right? I have I lead a team. I have led teams before. And no matter if they were on my payroll or on someone else's, I always led big teams the last, I would say, 10 years, right? But the first time someone made me the boss, I screwed up because I tried to mimic whatever other people did to me. I was like, no, I'm the boss. No, I can be the asshole. Right. I mean, I didn't think like that, but it's like, that's what happened, where you have to find out that, you work for other people now. They don't work for you. You work for them.
Yep.
And then the moment you realize that, it makes it easier. Do I still make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. But like, this moment of like self-reflection that comes often shortly after I made a mistake, that is what separates me from a lot of other people, or, like separates people that they're leaders rather than just a boss, right?
Right, absolutely.
Because you want to lift up other people. I don't want to, put anyone down. I want people to thrive beyond what I could ever do. That's why I hire people for. I don't hire people that are, I hire people to build them up to a point where they can do whatever I hired them for way better than me, right?
Right. Right.
So we are like right now we are a pretty young team here. What we want to develop is kind of like an employment maturity, employee maturity ladder, right? It's like you start as a doer, then you next point is you go to a system creator, manager, senior manager, and so on. Eventually, if everything works out well, you're going to be a partner in the company, right?
Right.
Because I want to lift people up, because only then me and my businesses will thrive.
Absolutely. I mean, you help other people reach their goals. Inevitably, it helps you get to your goal.
That's the plan.
Yep.
That's the plan, and I think that's the only way to actually like get anywhere. I mean, there's multiple examples out there where you can make it to a point also as an asshole. Yeah, it's possible,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But like, do you burn through people for that, or are people actually like lining up to work for you? That's the huge difference. So it's difficult sometimes. I have to say that, but it's worth it.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
So what's your plan? You're saying you're building up your own agency there within the umbrella company, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Because financial space is always like a lot of compliance that you have to like obey to, and like I don't know, like I know that from the real estate industry, Fair Housing Act, and you have like stuff like that too.
Yeah,
right?
we have a lot of compliance stuff. So with building my own agency, what our company allows us to do is come in as a contractor, and you learn the systems. We have systems in place too to help us build an agency. They train us how to build an agency, train us how to be a leader.
But that's then also like, okay, so umbrella company, then they hire you. You're an independent contractor. You can hire other people under you, but they're also under the umbrella company, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Kind of like without like meaning that in a negative way, but it's like a kind of like structured like a multi-level marketing kind of company.
Similar. We use the real estate example. Like in real estate, you have to have a broker, and you've got brokers that fall under that broker, and then they have their own agencies. And so, as a broker, you have
similar, but like so
similar.
it's like
we fall under different tax codes, so we can say that hey, we're not an MLM, multi-level. There's nothing wrong with those. There's a lot of great ones out there.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
So
according to a lot of people, there's a lot of great ones out there.
There's a few. I think I can think of one great one right now. That's Tupperware, but like
Tupperware. Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
But no matter what, it's like yes, I get it. Real estate agency, similar but different. Real estate agency, you have a managing broker, right? That owns the brokerage. They're most likely franchises anyways. So it's like a Keller Williams, for example, right? You buy in for the franchise, you get all the training material and so on and so on. But you are the managing broker of that brokerage, and then you can have brokers, the agents. They're actually all brokers, but so you can have other brokers or agents, whatever you want to call them. They work within your umbrella brokerage, that physical franchise. But at the same time, you can have your teams in there, right? It's like they all work for the brokerage.
Correct.
But they also like have an internal deal with, the team leader that says, hey, you know what? You're actually working for my team. That means you have a split too. It's like whatever commission you make, I get a share of that too. But,
So very similar to that as well. And so we are looking to promote brokers out though. In typical financial industry, like you bring somebody on, like you can only split so much commission with them. And at a certain point, like it's taken from the broker's pocket, right? So our company is set up to where we're incentivized to train and lead others to promote them to their own brokerages. And the way our system is set up, once I promote multiple brokers out, I get an override basically on their book of business for life. So I'm incentivized to train and lead them and make sure that they're successful. And because of that, I get rewarded. So
do you get recurring revenue from that? I mean, is it like a one-time?
Yeah, so I get that. There's quarterly bonuses and stuff like that we can get from training and leading other teams, and helping other people be leaders. And so, part of my plan is to promote at least 3 brokers in the next 3 years, so that I have those overrides for the rest of their life. But also, like I want to reach.
What's a turn? Like, sorry to interrupt. But like, I know that from real estate, like we have a lot of turnover in the industry, right? So, for example, 80% of brokers or agents, that are licensed today, they're not going to be in business next year anymore. So
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
are you doing
Our
against
industry
that
has
or
like
about that?
I think like a 90% failure rate
Okay.
within their first year.
So how long are you doing it?
How long have I been doing it?
Yeah.
February of this year, I went full time.
So you don't even know if you're still in business next
So
year.
I'm gonna be in business. I've never
Don't
quit
become
anything
a
in my life.
don't become a statistic. All right. It's like,
Absolutely not.
so that's always the thing.
I
Like,
think part of it is I have a great mentor. You
mhm,
know, we have a great team that I get mentorship daily. You know, and so it kind of helps keep me one accountability. You know, is a big thing for me. Like I have my goals, but I also have accountability of my leadership. Hey, you said you wanted to hit this goal, but are you doing the activity to get there or not?
right.
You know, and so for me, that's part of having a strong leader. You know, is having that mentorship to push you to the next
It's
level.
very important. It's very important. Like, you don't know everything, right?
Oh no,
So
absolutely
like,
not.
same here. So I know where my limitations are, right? But that's the thing is that there's a very special skill to have, self-reflection, right? The ability to actually sit down and see, okay, where are my shortcomings? Like,
Right,
where am I good? But like, more important, where am I not good? Right?
right. Yep.
Where do I need help? It's like, I pay a lot of money for mentors, right? That's like, you get the paid ones and you get the free ones, right? My I mean, if you have someone that you work with in the same industry that is kind of like a friend, mentor, that's great. But like, in my experience, I get more out of the paid mentors than I get out of people that want to mentor me. But then it's like, okay, what did you achieve so far?
Right,
It's like, okay, is there something? I mean, there's nothing wrong about like listening to your parents, but like, don't listen to them when they want to advise you on something they haven't done yet. So,
right. Absolutely,
so mentorship is, I think it's important, but it's also very important to look up to the right people. It's like,
absolutely.
have you done something like that, or what makes you an authority on in this field, right? For example, like, I always speak about marketing for for realties and for real estate. Um, I do not have a brokerage that makes, I don't know how many millions of dollars, but you know I know a lot of people. I have been in the industry, and I've figured out marketing, and that makes me like an authority in this field.
Right,
Not because I have gotten it there, but I know the formula, and I know how other people did it, and I interviewed them. I talked to them. I'm friends with them. They mentor me, right?
right,
I'm giving this back because I'm like, my strength is network, right? I have a huge network that other people don't have, so I can help people. Even like, I'm the middleman here, right? But
yeah,
like, I can get you the knowledge from the people that actually have done it, right? And I think it's very important to not
that's very important.
fall for the wrong people. Sometimes, the person that you talk to might not have done it himself or herself, but has the influence of all the people that have done it, right? But then at the same time, there's someone of old age, right? Very wise, you would say, giving you a lot of advice where they don't have no connection to whatever they want to tell you, and never have done anything like that themselves.
Yep. You
So,
have to be very careful about picking your mentors and choosing or allowing someone's choosing to mentor you. You have to ask yourself, why are they choosing to mentor you?
right.
Like,
That's, yeah,
so
exactly.
you have to
It's
be
like,
very careful about that. I mean, and not just for yourself, really, not so much because I mean, if you're going to be a leader within your own field, you've got to protect your time, energy as well, and you want to make sure that what you're doing is going to help the people in your field win too. And so you got to be careful on where the mentorship's coming from.
yeah, absolutely. Agree. All right. So if anyone wants to reach you, how would people find you?
Uh, love Facebook. I use Facebook a lot. So they can look me up through, facebook.com/David Adams Finance. It'll take you to my Facebook page there. I've also got a Facebook group called Compound Your Life where I talk about the 5 F's, what we call faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun, where I try to help people be more, well-rounded in all those areas and try to provide a lot of value to people. Otherwise, they can reach out. I can leave you my cell phone number or email address. Yeah.
Sure. Um, well, again, David, that was a really good talk. Thanks again for being here on the show, and I wish you all the best for your future.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.